Welcome to the virtual orientation for the 2025 Canadian race. So we're going to hop right into it. There's lots of content to get into. It's Canada's oldest race. It's been going on since 1982. We've been hosting it through Somersault for over 20 years now, and we're really excited to bring the 2025 edition. So for this virtual orientation, we'll be going through it in kind of chronological order. We'll talk about pre-race, then swim, then bike, then run, and then the post-race. So without further ado, the pre-race. So I'll use my cursor for a moment. If you're not familiar with Ottawa, we swim in Mooney's Bay, which is over here. We stage out of Terry Fox over here, which is where all the bikes are stored, our transition zone. The run course kind of goes through the park all the way to the community down there, and the finish line is also within Terry Fox. So if you hear me talking about Mooney's Bay or Terry Fox, it's all kind of the same area. But my number one recommendation for the event, if you can, is to pick up your bib the day before the race. So on Friday, the day before the race, from 3 to 6 p.m., we're going to be set up right over here on the corner, right where my cursor is here. It'll be very obvious. You'll have like big purple tents and purple flags and purple tablecloths and all of the staff wearing our shirts and whatnot. Really, really hard to miss. You can see it from the main road here, which is Riverside Drive. If you're coming from any which way, you'll be able to see our setup from the top of the hill here, the parking lot here, Come on over and say hi. By picking up your bib the day before, it's one less thing to do on the actual race day. It's a chance to meet our team, ask any questions you have, talk to fellow competitors, and you can get kind of a lay of the land because we'll have all the equipment set up. We'll have all the buoys in the water already set up. Transition zone will be set up, all the archways set up and whatnot. So it's a great opportunity just to get familiarized, do some visualization, ask your questions, and get one less thing to do on race day. So if you want to, and you're enjoying this virtual orientation, we will offer an in-person orientation, the same thing, Friday, the day before the race, at 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. You can do either one, or heck, you can do both if you like. And we'll walk you through the entire course. We'll walk down to the water and show you the swim. We'll walk up to the transition zone and show you the lay of the land there, walk you over to the finish line, etc., etc. But it's going to be a lot of the same content from this video. But if you want to see it in person, you want me to walk you around and give you a good hands-on orientation, 4 p.m. and then again at 5 p.m. the day before the race. Other miscellaneous things. Parking. There's a small parking lot over here. It usually fills up pretty quick. Between the volunteers that get there really early and some of the early morning races, this gets pretty full. There's parking at the top of the hill at Mooney's Bay. A third parking lot over here. A fourth one just over here. And then the biggest one just out of the shot right here, that you can kind of see it here, kind of if the screen were to expand, it'd be here, is Canada Post. Thousands of parking spots over here. It's only 800 meters away, so what most people do is they park there and then they just bike over. They cross over. There's a little path there. You can bike over. 800 meters takes no time at all when you're on a bike, and you make your way to the start line. So don't forget that, and don't forget, to pay the meter. Every year, a few of you park illegally. You try and sneak your way into a spot that isn't a spot. So this is just my PSA so that to save you from getting a ticket from bylaw. So to go over the morning of, let me go through the order of operation. You show up, you park wherever you park, either A, B, C, D, or better yet, E. You pick up your bib if you haven't picked it up already. Right where this green dot is, you'll have your body marking, where we're going to take a Sharpie and write your bib number, your age, and your race on your arms and your legs. You'll pick up your timing chip, a little ankle monitor that you wear throughout the race so that we know how fast you are. Then you head on into the transition zone. You'll set up your bike, get warmed up, and then make your way to the start line. So that is kind of the order of operation for the morning of. And then for late registration, we usually don't have anything available the morning of the race. We might have a few spots the day before the race, but the race may sell out even earlier than that. So space is subject to availability, and we always say to sign up online and sign up early. And we'll send you guys some notes through email and on social media to let you know if and when the race does sell out. So for the swim, very simple rectangle. Everyone starts on the beach here. You say 3, 2, 1, go. You swim around all the buoys, going clockwise, keeping the buoys on your right hand side. So I say all the buoys, and it's all the buoys that are in the water at the time of your race. So just to go through it, if you're doing the 1900 meter swim, there's 7 buoys. You go around A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then back. You do 2 laps of that, staying in the water, and that's your swim. After that race, we'll take this buoy D right out of the water. It won't even be in the water. You don't have to worry about it. And then it's time for the sprint triathlon goes next. Oh, pardon me as I scroll to the wrong page. The sprint triathlon, same thing, starts in the same place. They start on shore, 3, 2, 1, go. They keep the buoys on the right-hand side doing one big clockwise loop of all the buoys that are in the water, and they exit. Then it's time for the Olympic. You guys go in, A, B, C, E, F, G, and you come on back. Then we'll take these 2 buoys out of the water, and the Tri does a loop of these 4 buoys coming back. Then it's the youth race. They do one loop just like the others did. And then for the surf and turf, it's a 50-meter swim. So you'll start here on the shore. We'll put 2 buoys, one here and one here. The kids kind of wade or they swim around all of them. Half the kids choose to just stand up and run the thing anyway with their swim cap and their goggles on, and that's A-okay. Parents are welcome to get involved and help those kids out. You can help them in the water. You can help them get changed afterwards into their running shoes and all that. Don't be shy. For the other notes on the side here, I always say smile for the camera. We'll have photographers from Finisher Picks, on site throughout the whole day. They'll be taking photos from start to finish. And we'll tag them all by your name and your bib number. So after the race, you can go online to photos.somersault.ca. You can put bib number 1, 2, 3, or put in your name, and it'll show you all your photos from the day. So smile for the camera. For cutoff times, you have to finish the race before the next race starts. There is a little bit of leniency. If you're just about to finish the race, we're not going to cut you off with 1 second over time kind of thing. But just make sure that you look at the start time for your race, look at the start time for the next race, and make sure you can finish safely within that time limit. Again, if you're a minute off or so, that's okay. But if the distance and the time seem just a little too daunting, consider changing what distance you race that day. And lastly, just to reiterate, it's a beach start, and it's going to be chip timing, not gun timing. So everyone's going to line up on the beach from kind of fastest going onwards. We'll do a big 3, 2, 1, go, and you go into the water kind of 2 by 2, kind of like a waterfall style. You all kind of flow right into the water to start your race, but your timing chip won't be activated till you cross into the water. So unless you plan on being the first one out of the water and you're quite a strong swimmer, there's no advantage on being the first one in the water. There you go. So now I'll go to the next page that I skipped to earlier, the bike portion. I'll use my cursor again. So you'll get your bike from the transition zone. You'll make your way through a nice little grass path onto the road, Hogsback. That's where you'll hop on. You head on over to Colonel By Drive. It's about 150 meters or so to get here. And then you go there and back. And one loop is 10 kilometers. So you do 1, 2, 4, or 9 loops depending on which race you're doing. We'll have a big screen here at Hogsback and Colonel By Drive that when you go past it, it'll beep. It'll say what lap you're doing. It'll show you on a big screen. You'll do number 1, 2, 3. You're on lap 5, whatever it might be. And you continue on. So easy as that. So the turnaround points are at Hogsback and at Clegg. When you get to Hogsback, there'll be a big sign saying extra loop, turn here, or finish line, go this way. But you start and finish at the same spot. So where you go and you mount on your bike and you head over to the bike course to start your loops. When you're finished, you turn around, come back to where you came from, and you dismount the same place that you mounted on. So that's how that's going to work. For cutoff times, we have to open up this road by noon sharp. So for this one, we're a little more firm. You have to be off the road by noon. Again, if that seems a little bit daunting, you quite can't make it, consider changing what race you might do, or reach out to me and we'll try and find a plan B. We can always have you move on to the side of the road. We can try and have someone escort you on a motorcycle to finish off the last minute or so if it's just going to be off by a hair. But we have to have sports stats and our volunteers and our staff off the road safely by noon to open up the road to the city. So there'll be some changes if you can't quite make it by noon, but please make sure that you can get it done by noon or just very shortly after. Going down the list of bullet points here, we'll have a washroom on the course too. So porta potty right over here at University Ave and Colonel By Drive where Carlton U is. There'll be a porta potty there. There'll also be a volunteer there with a big Gatorade jug full of water. So if you want to stop and refill any bottles, you can. If you're in the Iron 113 race, we'll do a bottle exchange. So if you want, you can ride by at any time, stop, grab a full bottle of sports drink, put it on your bottle cage, keep it forever, or bring it back if you like, and continue on. So if you're doing 90K, no need to carry all of your own nutrition. You certainly can, but if your bike only handles 1 or 2 bottles and you need more than that, you can use our bottle exchange to top up throughout the race. Again, know your loops, and then the last thing I'll mention for these list of bullet points is the swim cycle. So if you're doing the swim cycle event, After you cycle, you'll put your bike back in the transition zone, and you have to just go from the transition zone to the finish line of the race. It's only an extra 80 meters or so, but that's where your race is going to end. And last but not least, the run portion of the event. So you'll start over here at Terry Fox again. You put your bike back where you got it from. You exit. There's a water station right there. You make your way through the beach onto a multi-use path here, and then you dip into a nice community on Revelstoke Road. So for that route, it's there and back, and there's 2 water stations, one right when you start and one at the 1.2 kilometer mark or so. So if you're doing the 2.5 kilometer race, you'll pass the 2 water stations 2 times each, total of 4 water stations. If you're doing a 5K race, again, you go there, you go back. Again, you'll have the same 4 water stations. You pass the 2 water stations 2 times, that's 4. If you're doing a 10K, again, you're going to pass them 8 times. And then for anyone doing the Iron 113, the half marathon, you have to run an extra 140 meters or so past this 5 kilometer turnaround point to get to your turnaround point. We'll have volunteers at all 3 of these, plenty of volunteers at the water stations, of course. So we're there to help you out, but make sure you guys know how many loops you're doing and you know where your loops are. So this 2.5 kilometer turnaround point, if you know the region, is right on the corner of Riverside Drive and Walkley Road. You really can't miss it. These 2 here, again, they're only 140 meters apart or so. So when you're at this one here, you'll be able to see this turnaround point just barely around the corner. But this one is only for the ones doing the half marathon distance run. Anyone doing the 5 or the 10, you turn around here. We'll have a Washerman course as well, just around the 5 kilometer turnaround point. And as the first bullet point says, keeps reminding me to smile for the camera. We'll have photographers on the run course all day long. Now the best part of the race is the post-race, of course. When you finish the event, we'll have some non-alcoholic beer from Libra. We'll have some pizza from Riverside Pizza, one of our favorite local pizzerias. And then when you get online, it'll take a few days, but we'll have all the photos tagged for you within 48 hours of finishing the race. But as soon as you cross the finish line, you'll have your results over at sportstats.ca. So that's the virtual orientation in a nutshell. If you have any questions, let me know. My email is adam@somersault.ca. I can't wait to see you all at the start line, or better yet, the day before at bib pickup. Thanks, and we'll see you then.